vision. Sukaina, you have done something already. The business ladies and gents have showcased their businesses do something different. Competition.
Our Jamaat is male dominated. Talk to me about that challenge of having to work with men.
To be very fair and open and frank with you,
being a woman, Sukaina auntie, you're wearing so many hats. For many years you've been in the community, but this Bibi Khadija entrepreneurship, I want to know how it all started.
The Shahadat Bibi Khadija is the one who was the entrepreneur, who gave her whole wealth in the name of Islam to the Prophet. I said, fantastic.
What I found really amazing was the types of businesses that were coming forward were away from the traditional businesses that we're used to.
It's not about we're teaching you, we're teaching each other.
Absolutely.
You can't help but be inspired and see like, wow, new blood coming through. There's things we can learn from them as well.
You've now inspired so many youngsters who have learned from this. Now you're on KHOJA level. How did that happen?
That was another dream. That was another vision. I said, I can't stop here, not just for Stenmorians. Let all the Jamaats take part in this.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the KHOJA Connection podcast, Growing Through Conversations. My name is Durain Hirji and I am your host. And we have today two inspiring individuals. The first one is Sukaina Nurmohamed, whose visions we're going to talk about today and who has brought an amazing concept with the Bibi Khadija competition, which we're going to talk about today. We have also with us today Zameer Nazarali, who is also my husband, and who's going to talk about the challenges and the purpose and the lessons learned through this journey. Assalamu alaikum. Both you, Sukaina Auntie, Zameer. Welcome to the KHOJA Connection podcast, Growing Through Conversations. We've been lucky enough to be shooting this in the future space today. Alhamdulillah, we're very grateful for that. But what we are more grateful for is having the two of you today to share your experience specifically around the Bibi Khadija entrepreneurship, your whole journey behind it, how it all started, and it's so exciting. So firstly, thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. Salam alaikum to both of you.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you for having us on your show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
It's always my pleasure to see individuals that are adding so much value to our community. Being a woman, Sukaina auntie, and not only a woman, but you're married, you have your own challenges at home with responsibilities, children, grandchildren, because mashallah you're a grandmother as well. You're wearing so many hats, and everybody knows that your name is mashallah, mashallah, mashallah everywhere when it comes to serving the community. And, for many years you've been in the community, but this Bibi Khadija entrepreneurship, I want to know how it all started. Where did the idea come from? What made you go into it?
Yeah, as you mentioned, too many hats. Trust me, it's not really. I mean, it's just that things just fall in and I just pick it up and take it from there. However, Bibi Khadija competition was the second part of my journey. The beginning part of the journey was the small business showcase.
Yes.
If you allow me to say a little bit about that
Please.
first, and how Bibi Khadija competition came, or how the birth took place, it's linked or interlinked with each other. I'll go back one step, if that's okay with you.
Of course, yes.
Small business showcase. How it all started off. It was during the pandemic. A lot of our own KHOJA people were furloughed or made redundant from their jobs, etc. I was just having a conversation with my daughter, and she said, "Mom, I'm a young entrepreneur. I've just started. I'm hit with a pandemic. Nobody will know what I'm doing. Let's do something within our community." And I gave a bit of a thought, and I said, okay, the best way, everything was social media. Everything was online, Zoom, YouTube. There was so much happening during the pandemic time, and that was the best way to have a platform on Zoom for where people could showcase their businesses and help and motivate our own people. This is where it all started. So the first 2 years was just virtual. We started that off. Then the government was a little relaxed with the rules, and we had one in person, yeah, which was 3 years ago. 2 years ago, actually, 2022. And that's where we started off. So the first year, it was quite successful, but we had our challenges with that as well. Before we had the second one, the second SBS, as we would start looking into and planning and etc., one night, all suddenly I had a vision. Literally a vision. This vision was trying to tell me, Sukaina, you have done something already, which you have now brought the community together. The business ladies and gents have showcased their businesses, such as either their products or services, to something different. Something was telling me whilst I was just thinking about it, and the vision came: competition. Throw in some money, put a prize, make it happen. Let them come, let them pitch their ideas in front of the community, bring in the investors, and start off. I took it to the team. During the pandemic, let me go one step back. It was literally just, there was no full team as such. As we were going into the first showcase, which was going to be in-house, I formed a small team. So I straight away put it out to the team, and I said, I've got an idea. Can we meet up, if that's okay? We finally met. We were a team, all sitting at Hujjat Stanmore in the annex. And I said, this is the vision I've seen. What do you think? And the team all said, yes, let's go for it. It's kind of a Dragon's Den style kind of thing. I said, brilliant. We need to name it. We need to name. So one person said, I want to launch. Actually, before that, I said, before naming it, I really want to launch it in the month of Ramadan. Why Ramadan? I said, that's the month spirituality, including the niyyah is there. We want to inspire. I find that month such a holy month, and the intention is there. Let's do it. The team said, great, good idea. We name said, why don't we put Bibi Khadija? Let's launch it on the 8th or the 9th night. The Shahadat. Bibi Khadija is the one who was the entrepreneur, who gave her whole wealth in the name of Islam to the Prophet. I said, fantastic. We got that. I said, okay, now we need to do more brainstorming. Left that night, and my mentor, who is sitting right beside me, he was through and through, called him up, and I said, this is the vision. This is what I want. Don't worry, Sukaina auntie, it's all going to happen. He was the one who took the lead on how we want to bring that alive. So on the judges' side, the scorecards, the mentors, etc., that was the journey where it all started from that.
That's so much that's happened within the last 2-3 years.
Correct.
And not only the thought process, the ideas, the vision, but then the delivery of it as well, the success of it on top of it as well. And it's just beautiful to see that as a woman you are embodying the values of Bibi Khadija in terms of Islamically, you're bringing it in a very encouraging way to all the people that has so many business ideas but that they don't have a platform, and that you brought that together, and how your team, as they say, the team makes the dream work, right? Teamwork
Absolutely.
makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing. And Zameer, I'm going to bring you into it. For those viewers who don't know, Zameer is my husband as well. So he's...
Before you bring Zameer
Yes.
in, but let me just
Yes.
you're a very humble person. I will not take the glory of this. As I said to you, there was a team. We all worked together. And this is where it was a successful, I'm sure you took part in the last year's, the first ever Bibi Khadija competition. Now we've moved into the second year of this Bibi Khadija competition, which we have continued. And I will allow Zameer to talk a little more, but it was collectively a team.
It was a
teamwork.
But the
Yeah.
leadership also has to be there. The vision has to be there. And we need to give ourselves a bit of credit. You know that about me, Sukaina Auntie. I always encourage you that, humility is amazing, but part of humility is also taking credit where it's due, because it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gives us the strength. And alhamdulillah, what went through your mind when she called you to say this is what's happening? What happened to you in your mind? What were you thinking?
Absolutely. So, I mean, she may not want to take the glory, but I'm about to give her a lot. So
Don't deserve it at all, Zameer.
No. Honestly, I think when we first spoke, so I spoke to Sukaina Auntie and Hasnain, who was part of the team at that time, and she sort of portrayed the mission and the purpose that they were trying to achieve. I just was blown away. Because what they wanted to do was really unearth the talent we had in our community and give them a platform, not just to have this investment and have the opportunity to get that financial reward, but sort of to really showcase themselves to the community and really come to the fore. So it didn't take a lot for me to be convinced to get on board. I was really inspired, and just on a genuine note, Sukaina Auntie really perfectly portrayed the picture of this exciting journey. I think that's something she really brings to the table. And from there it was about, look, how do we actually now bring this vision to life? And she's quite right. It was a real team effort, with fantastic team, and a lot of learning on the journey. Because, it was the first time any of us had this type of adventure, if you like. And, getting our heads together and addressing the challenges as we went along, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I think we've come through that journey really empowered. Really empowered.
And I think that's really beautiful to see, actually. I was just speaking to the future team earlier, Fayaz and Rishad as well, who also has completely highlighted the fact that these kind of partnership, when you work as a community in a community, you really build a true human connection, that humanity, that bringing the skills, bringing the help, the assistance, and it's really everybody's expertise and talents that makes it all work together, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I witnessed the one that happened, was it last year? Yes, the one last year. It was massive. It was beautiful. I saw so many people, families, and we're so lucky. We have so many talents, entrepreneurship mindset within our community. We had like property investor, we had health coaches, we had painters, artists, course creators, literally you name it, and we have it in our community. Being able to showcase your business in a Muslim Islamic environment is not given to everybody.
Absolutely.
We're very wealthy in that sense that we have that spirit, that community, where we have people so dedicated like yourselves, that that come with their team, their dedicated team. So, Auntie, what impact did it have on the community for you to create that? What were the feedback that you received?
Yes, the impact was tremendous, I would say. Feedback, what we got, that this was something which they had never thought of. They had the opportunity to showcase as well. If I'm looking at the SBS side of it, the very last one, particularly, which is very current in the month of Ramadan, which we had, one of the person, I just happened to go and ask if everything was okay, if they needed anything, let me know if I could be any assistant to them, etc. However, this person said, I'm so ever so grateful for you and your team. I said, thank you. I said, what makes you say that? And he said that I really want to showcase this at Excel, but I was very nervous. But this is something for me, a stepping stone, and now I've combat that. This is the right platform. I'm here today, and I'm going to be moving into the Excel to do that. So this was something which really gave me a lot more energy.
Confidence, yeah.
There was so much positive energy building in to say, what else can we do? Apart from that, I'll move away a little bit. Last year, for instance, when I was looking at how I wanted to do the second SBS, which was a bigger and a better one, and I wanted to call some local politicians to come and see us as the Shia community, what we are doing and how we are inspiring. A couple of thoughts came in my mind. Before, it was just the first one was just, the first two virtual ones were within the community, the KHOJA community. Then came last year, I said, no, let's do it open to the Shia community. Let all the Shias come under one roof and showcase their businesses, or rather their products and services. At the same time, I thought, okay, let's get a local politician to come in. So I was looking at who to invite, because that was within the vicinity of Harrow, so the borough of Harrow. When you want to do something, you get the guidance. Somehow the guidance came, Sukaina, why don't you contact this X, Y, and Z person? I sent a formal online invitation. That invitation within the borough of Harrow went to the business councillor. He rings me and tells me, by the way, Borough of Harrow, I have partnered with the Brunel University. Would you like to meet the team up? And I said, okay, let me call, let me find out more, let me see what they entail, what are they going to give back to the community. Brunel University sat down with me and they said, partner up with us, the businesses, your entrepreneurs in your community, whether it's a new startup who has already had a business and they want to flourish even more, we are here to give free skills to enhance their businesses. And that's where I took the opportunity. Alhamdulillah, I'm proud to say, from the 20 who put their names forward with the Brunel University, we have got 12 already who are already getting their business plans revamped, been helped how to work along with that. They've been getting extra mentoring sessions as well. And inshallah, this year at the SBS, from the 12th, we are going to bring 3 to talk about their journey, how their journey has been since last year, from showcasing at Byron Hall until now with the Brunel University.
Wow. So you've really moved forward when it comes to
Correct.
not only
So now,
providing.
also just to add a little bit more on that, we have partnered up with them. So we are one of the first KHOJA community within UK under the umbrella of KOHJ, which is KHOJA, KSMC of London, partnered up with Brunel University to get extra, help, skills to upskill the young entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurs in the community.
So now you've just mentioned that you've now actually stepped up under KOHJ now. So KOHJ is now going to talk about this and promote it within the Jamaats. Zam, or Zameer, how did your experience when you went into helping in terms of putting the process together for this competition? You know, there was, 10 candidates at the beginning. I think, was it 10?
We had
Or 12.
just over 10, and then we whittled down to 10.
You took
narrowed
it down
it
to
down.
10. So
Correct.
there was 10. How did it go from 10 to 3? The judging in between. How was your journey, and what did you learn from it?
Absolutely. So it was quite daunting, to be honest, at the beginning, because I'd never judged anything before. But it was a matter of sort of getting the sort of identified judges together and understanding, look, we've all come from our different business perspectives. And it was understanding first, what is the objective that we're actually trying to achieve? And that was empowerment of youth entrepreneurs. And now, how do we use this judging technique, not just to, remove candidates, but actually to help them and steer them. So whether or not they go through to the next round, they're still gaining something from the process. They're gaining so much from the journey. So when we started putting the scorecards together, it wasn't with the intention of creating this mechanical structure, but it was to create thought provocation within the candidates. So, for example, one of the criterias that we shared with them is, how are you impacting and giving back to the community? Now, it wasn't just about give a cut of your profits to donations. This was about how are you sort of fulfilling your why, your purpose, wider than your business. And even from that process, a couple of the candidates I spoke to on the day, they hadn't given it thought before, but after that, they thought, yeah, actually, there is a lot I can do. And what I found really amazing was the types of businesses that were coming forward were away from the traditional businesses that we're used to. We're from those traditional professional services and your accountants, lawyers, and product specialists and whatnot. These were like candidates coming with something completely different. And we felt that it was our duty to sort of really steer the judging part of it, to give them a platform, but at the same time to help us to be able to score them, because of course you can't have everyone going through at the same time. So when we got to the paneled aspect of it, the questions that we asked on the day were very much geared to, look, we see what you're trying to achieve. Have you considered this? Have you thought of this? Have you seen this roadblock? Tell us if there's a way you can overcome it, or tell us if there's challenges you've identified that we haven't seen. And I think that gave us the ability to almost steer and mentor the candidates on the day, but it also gave them the confidence to really get comfortable and provide insights into their business journey, which I think was really powerful. And I think that's what we're really trying to achieve through this journey. It's, yes, the investment's there. Yes, it's a bit of fun as well with the competition. It puts a bit of stress, which is good. I know a couple of the candidates said, if we didn't have to go through this process, we wouldn't have done X, Y, Z in our business.
Yeah.
So we're like, great, that's exactly what we wanted. Even though they didn't win, they came forward maybe 30, 40, 50% of the journey, which they were thinking about earlier. But equally, it was also an opportunity to help people who didn't really have a platform but wanted to step up, to give them that platform and say, look, win, lose or draw, you're only going to win because now you've got a chance to shine.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's really inspiring. And they inspired us. Let's be honest. When we got to the final, we had to ask for extra time because genuinely we had three like bombastic candidates who there was the length of a hair between them. We just couldn't differentiate because the style, the perseverance, the courage they showed, but also the idea they brought. You know, they were all champions in their field and they all brought something different to the table. And to see that, you can't, even if you've been like, you know, a few of us have been in business for years, you can't help but be inspired and see like, wow, new blood coming through. There's things we can learn from them as well, right? So it's a really circular motion in this whole process.
And there were three females.
Three females, which
Yeah.
I thought represented the name of Bibi Khadija beautifully,
Yeah,
isn't it? In that way,
absolutely.
it just so happened to be that way, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think what you've just said as well is quite important in that it's not about winning, it's about the process of learning. The journey
Absolutely.
itself is a winning part of the journey, to be honest. And you know, it's not about we're teaching you, we're teaching each other. You know,
Absolutely.
we are just providing a platform, but the fact that you actually delivered, did what you had to do, came forward, put your name forward, it does demand a lot of courage.
Absolutely.
And a lot of you know, it's a lot of confidence to have to put your name forward, not knowing what's going to happen, but still participating. And obviously, I think it did help to have organizers and, you know, judges and a whole system, a process that's working. Of course, there's a lot to learn, I'm sure, from the first time to the second time. And that's my next question, actually. What have you learned? You know, what challenges did you go through? Because obviously with every great success, it doesn't come just like that. You know, there's pitfalls and there's different challenges you go through.
Yeah, there were challenges, not as many, but there were challenges as we were going along. Sometimes the mentee with the mentor, you see, we did go through that as well. The different opinions the mentee would have with the mentor and etc. So there were challenges which we did combat that, didn't we, Zameer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other minor challenges, I would say, was we could not bring everybody there at the same time, like due to different circumstances individuals would have, you know. Those were very minor, but most of it we were able to tackle as we went along. And having said those challenges, we learned through that, because bearing in mind it was our first year of getting this off the ground, and we've learned a few bits and pieces from that, haven't we, Zameer? And we've talked about it, how we are going to then implement going forward this year, you see. So there was a challenge as well regards to the deadline. The deadline was quite short, so now we will be mindful that there is enough time for the candidates to submit as well. They felt that they were stretched, I think. That was more or less because of them studying. They were at uni exams, and then on top of that they were in this competition as well. So yeah, things not that we will not be able to rectify, but we've learned, and inshallah this year we are looking into all those as well at the same time.
Yeah, if I could build on that as well, I think the challenges were sort of two or threefold. First was that we were learning on the go.
Correct.
And
yes.
so I think the challenge was internal, in that how do we make this a really enriched experience while we're also inexperienced? How do you reconcile that without going into the fake it as you make it mode? Because obviously what we didn't want to do is just put on a show. That wasn't the idea. The idea is how do we make sure that the candidates are feeling supported, the mentors and the judges also feeling included and engaged. Because don't forget, I mean, this is like with anything in the community, it's all voluntary time, right?
Correct.
And you really need a passion to be able to give it, because it's time consuming, but it's also energy, right? You want to give your best energy. And I think a few times we spent hours sort of just going back and forth. How do we make this work really well? And I think what we learned through that process is, first and foremost, having that empowerment, that transparency in the team, that open-mindedness led by Sukaina Auntie. She was always willing to listen to our ideas. She was always happy to lend an ear, let us sort of figure out things as we go, and give us that compassion and space, which was amazing. And a safe space, so we could bounce ideas. There was no silly questions.
Correct.
There was nothing that was a silly idea. Let's just get it all out on the table. There's no judgments, but ultimately, how do we feed into this process to make it even better? So I think that was one really powerful thing that helped us overcome those internal challenges. In terms of the challenges externally, shall we say, it was, I guess, setting the right expectations, and maybe the candidates, because we were slightly uncertain at times, maybe that uncertainty sort of translated. So I think that's something that we've sort of seen this year, that we want to give them very clear clarity by providing resources as well. So because not everyone has a business background, not everyone has gone through the process of understanding structuring or putting a business plan together. For some it is a foreign concept, which is fair enough. So this year what we want to do is, when the candidates come in, we can give them tutorials, we can give them resources. We'll plan to get them all together, give them a Q&A before the process really gets started, so that we can hear them and we can facilitate them. I think that's really, really important. So that, I think, is the next challenge, is how do you take this to the next level and really energize the process. And sure, we're gonna come against obstacles, but I think as a team we're ready for it, because we're open-minded and we're ready to embrace that challenge.
I think as a community, what we are slowly learning is that letting go of judgment is serving us more than anything else. I think now we have turned the page, or a lot of people are turning the page now, and allowing themselves to be making mistakes with people that they feel safe with.
Absolutely.
And learning from it, because they know that it's a non-judgmental place. And also, obviously, Sipten Uncle also gave you that I'm sure, that leeway of making decisions. So again, from the leadership as well.
Absolutely.
Having that platform to... And it's a theme, it's a recurring theme that I'm seeing now. The more I'm talking to people, the more I'm seeing that success comes from a place where you can nurture.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you're chained and you can't make decisions, there's nothing much you can create from that. And it seems like I can see that the leadership is giving that platform, you as a leader as well, giving the platform to your team to create, to come together with different ideas, and making the dream happen. And that's beautiful.
And that's the key, Durain. You nailed it there, with the top leadership. And obviously, I had a leader. I had to go to the leader. This is the vision. This is how I'm looking at. However, I've got a team, but this is what is expected. This is what is needed, and there was no question of being challenged. The trust was already there.
Wow.
Sukaina Bai, are you sure about this? I said, yes. If I'm not in it, I wouldn't know. Let me be in it, and I'll prove it. And that's where I was left at. And because of that trust, which I had already had from the leader, that I will be able to do it, and I said, I've got to give it back. I've got to do it. And that's where, when we sat down as a team, the core team, and when I brought that forward to them, I said, the leader has told me, it's now us. We'll all need to work together to get what we have, or we want to get it done.
Yeah.
You see, if you see what I mean.
I mean, it's again, it's the same theme, that self accountability now.
Correct.
Because in the past, because we've been too used to being employees and follow instructions and
Yes.
not having a mind of your own, you're just doing what you're told to do,
Yeah.
or you're told how to think. Now suddenly, it's all in your hands, because now you do what you think is best. We're giving you that
Absolutely.
freedom almost to deliver.
Yeah.
And then you make that vision happen in the best way with your team.
Yes, and there was one thing which I also learned since the leader gave me that opportunity. I passed it on down as well. So then there was, for instance, the lead for SBS, the lead for Bibi Khadija. There was a lead for the judges and the mentors, and that kind of lead was then passed on.
Yes.
Where then Zameer came a lot more in at that time, to provide. Basically, he was my right hand, if you see what I mean. I would just say X, Y, and Z needs to be done. Sukaina auntie, don't worry. I'm doing the scorecards. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So he had already taken that ownership, and which I knew that I will not need to continuously ask, where have you got to? At times I had to nudge to say, where are you at? But then he himself made sure that it was all getting done, if you see what I mean. Because there was so much passion in this from day one.
Because it was something you enjoyed.
Correct.
It was your baby in that sense.
Yeah,
and
and the whole team, the entire team.
yeah, you had a wonderful, skilled team as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they were all so passionate because this idea had never come up, and everybody wanted to be part of this. And
Innovative.
Yeah.
So how did it get from there to now? Alhamdulillah, you've now inspired so many youngsters who have learned from this, have probably shared it on their social media, made a buzz out of it. Now you're on KHOJA level. How did that happen?
That was another dream. That was another vision. I said, I can't stop here, not just for Stenmorians. I said, let all the Jamaats take part in this. There must be a lot more skills out there. And let us be the hub, Hujjat, again, to be the hub for upskilling, bringing them all together. And that's what it all happened. Again, another vision.
Another vision.
And brought it to the table, and everybody was on board with that.
So talk to me about what is it that you're doing with KHOJA?
Okay, so I reached out again to the leader. I said, September, it's KHOJA level. Before even speaking to September, I had already spoken to Zameer. And I got a good nod from him. I knew, okay, he's going to be by me. Whatever I'll say, it will be done. Yeah. Took it to the leader. Leader said, okay, how do you feel? What's going to benefit? How is it going to benefit? Answered all that. He said, yeah, Bismillah. Took it to the KHOJA, and I said, this is what I would want. What do you think? And the first person actually I spoke to KHOJA wasn't Salim Bhai directly. It was with Montu, because I've built that relationship with him already, so I was able to talk to him. Sukaina auntie, don't worry. I'll back you up.
Amazing.
Are you going to go and... The next question was, will you speak to Salim Bhai yourself? Will you let him know? He said, Tame vyadi ji nahi karo. It's all done. I said, great. And that's when I came back to Zameer and I said, okay, let's get it done.
Let's get it done, yeah.
Under KHOJA umbrella within the UK Jamaats.
In the UK Jamaats. And again, that's another example of leadership. I just want to really highlight the fact that we are, we have the right leaders in our community.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have, like you said, Murtaza, we have Salim as well, both of which have absolutely, the mindset is that of learning, of evolving, of getting to the next level, bringing people up rather than down.
Absolutely.
And that, the fact that they saw the success and they were like, this can benefit so many Jamaats.
Absolutely.
So tell me, how can it benefit the Jamaats?
Touching, I mean, I'm very passionate about leadership and development.
Of course,
and, just linking back to what you guys were saying, great leaders make great leaders.
Absolutely.
Right? And whether that's upward direction or downward direction, that purpose-driven leadership helps people channel their passions, right? And inspires them to it's a two-way street. You give someone that empowerment, they'll give you that loyalty back. Yeah. And suddenly you've got this amazing positive circle of energy. And, being able to test pilot this at a local level and then prove the concept and then take that upwards into KHOJA and hopefully into all the other Jamaats. Hopefully that will inspire us creating leaders throughout the network and helping people sort of really embrace their passion, right? Yeah. Because that's what you want. You want purpose-driven and passion-driven leadership.
Absolutely,
yes.
Because we're all leaders in our own right. Whether you're a leader of a team or a leader of yourself, leadership is absolutely vital, right? And so I think now the next step will be hopefully creating motivation and inspiration through all the other Jamaats throughout the UK. But ultimately, what we'd love to see is connectivity, right? So, there can be partnerships between someone in Stanmore, Hayder, and someone in Leeds.
Absolutely.
Or, somewhere else, Wessex and Essex. And, getting community partnerships, helping us discover each other. Because we haven't really known each other. Like, we know there's a dime a dozen of accountants, lawyers, doctors, dentists, etc. But did we know there's a vitamin maker? Did we know that there's a nutritionist with a specific slant or a mindset coach for youthfulness or youth mindfulness, sorry. This is like real discovery in the community, right? And you open so many doors and suddenly that thing we've been aspiring to, why can't we be like other communities, becomes a reality, right?
Yeah. I mean, this has made a lot of people's dream come true in that, they didn't even think they would reach that point, especially, I'm talking personally about the winner, for example. Sana herself never thought that she would even reach that point if it hadn't been for that process. I mean, Zam, you've gone through the grind of business, ownership and the challenges of business, and also you're an engagement and lawyer as well, coach. I mean, you're an engagement coach, employment lawyer. So you work with people, you work with relationships with people. How is this process going to inspire other young people? You talk a lot about leadership, passion, purpose. What is this process going to do for them?
So, great question. I think it gives them an opportunity to enhance key skills that they may not have discovered otherwise. As we know, in our academic system, we don't have things like, networking, like presenting in terms of key skills, in terms of being able to build rapport. And these things are critical in business life and in general as well. But, even if you're a one-man band or one-woman band, you still need to be able to build rapport with an investor, with a supplier, with a client. And I think this platform gives those youth entrepreneurs the chance to come out of their shell. Because, look, if they've applied, either it means they're very confident in what they can do, which is great, and they can then learn more and more, or they're really coming out of their comfort zone. Yeah. Now, that's where we hopefully, inshallah, come in as the helping hand to say, great, you've shown the courage, you want it, you've shown the passion. Now let's equip you on this journey. And we've got several different leaders, community leaders, business leaders in the process, whether judges, mentors, or organizers. And we're all going to chip in and we're all going to give you a safe space to grow. And I think that's something that really is lacking. You don't get a chance as an entrepreneur or a business person starting off. It's a very lonely journey sometimes. And very early on, you don't get a chance to have a safe space. Often you have to hit the ground running, and you're going to make major mistakes along the way, and you're going to hopefully have some successes. But, you lose a lot of time because you don't have a safe space to just incubate. And that's really what we can provide, give those entrepreneurs the ability to make their mistakes, make their hiccups and say, hey, did you think of doing it this way, or can we guide you that way? That gives them that ability, right? So
What's the one tip, one tip you would give to anyone who's on the fence, who wants to participate but not quite sure how that's going to pan out, or having self-doubt?
Yeah.
What's the one thing, as you started with nothing when you started your business, and alhamdulillah, you went through the journey. What's the one tip you can give them?
So 3 words: do it now.
Now.
Whether you join this competition or you launch your business, don't wait another second. And it's so critical not to wait for everything to align, because let me tell you, things don't align. Even 10 years down the line, things don't always align. And even now, in my own business, I will think of an idea, and I've really learned now that if I'm passionate enough, there's no point waiting. Let's just crack on and we'll figure it out. Nothing is, there's no end, there's no wall, right? It's an infinite way of thinking. We're going to look to the future. We find a purpose. Let's travel towards it. Now, are you going to be perfect the first time? Of course not. But that's okay. That's part of the journey. You're going to have such an enriched journey because you allowed yourself to start, right?
Yeah.
So I think if there's one key tip, it's just get cracking. Do it now. Don't waste another second. The worst that can happen is you fail. And what does fail mean? It's the first attempt in learning.
Yeah.
So great. Why are you losing out on the education, right?
Absolutely. And I love what you said about the fact that don't wait to be perfect, because a lot of people in the past waited to be perfect, and their potential was never unleashed or known by anybody.
Correct.
So, take the risk and go for it. And, inshallah, you will get something somewhere along the lines. And yes, it's not going to be easy, but then what is easy? Anything that's where there's a growing process is not, there's resistance, isn't it?
No, absolutely. If I could just add that, each of us have a unique gift in life. And if we hesitate, first, we don't give ourselves the potential to just really enjoy that journey. But secondly, we have a responsibility to the rest of the world. And if you don't start somewhere, you're never going to get the chance to fulfill that. And it's very powerful, right? So,
Yes.
Just take your opportunities.
I love that. I recently went to an exhibition in Madagascar. My cousin Hasnain was holding an exhibition there, and one of the scene was basically some eggs that were never actually opened. So there are stories out there that will never people will never know.
Absolutely.
And then there's
Absolutely.
stories, actual books that were written about people, businesses that were created that help so many other people. So everybody, like you said, has a special gift, has a potential, has a mission, has a purpose. It's just about believing in yourself and believing that God is giving you that strength to do it. So
For sure.
believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Sukaina Aunty, as a woman, how has it been for you to, our Jamaat, let's be honest, is predominantly male dominated. And you're one of those unique type of personality that, mashallah, through your humbleness, through your experience, through your skills, have really managed to do this. So talk to me about that challenge of having to work with men as a woman.
To be very fair and open and frank with you, alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful that I've really not had such big challenges.
Wow.
I mean, from the leader side, whatever I've taken on the table, it gets endorsed. Even with Zameer, alhamdulillah, I've not had any sort of challenge or any challenges with him when I'm actually talking. So there has been a lot of mutual understanding and that relationship already. So I don't know, maybe this was just a fluke. I'm not sure, but trust me, I've had a very supportive president, with including the OBs and including my right hand.
Yeah.
You see, so, I mean, all what I know or I believe very strongly, if you portray in a respectful manner, you get respect back. That is all what I can tell you.
You can't snatch it. You have to earn it.
You have to
Of course,
earn it.
yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. You've got that spot on. And Alhamdulillah, the 2 year is coming to an end, and I'm already feeling it, that with that kind of personality I was working with, and I'm hoping, and inshallah, for the next president to come in, I should have the same kind of rapport, understanding and respect, where I will then be able to take not only our women, but our own community to the next level.
Definitely. And I think that definitely there's been a change in, alhamdulillah, in our community. I think us as women are now having those opportunities, coming into those leadership positions, and are able to make things happen as well.
Absolutely.
And from credit to our men as well, who are slowly changing the
yeah.
way they're thinking, including women as well.
Yeah.
And it's a good change. I think it's a very encouraging state of affairs that we find ourselves in, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, but then don't forget, there is a saying, every successful man.
Behind every successful man, there's
Absolutely.
there's an amazing lady.
Ladies, yeah, this is it.
So your husband must be super successful.
No, I'm talking about Zameer.
Alhamdulillah. No, it's like you said,
I'm actually telling Zameer.
teamwork.
Yeah, this is it. No, alhamdulillah, it's a teamwork.
It's teamwork.
It's definitely, it's husband and wife is a partner,
Yes.
and it's a team.
It's team.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and that's where it all starts.
You need
It
to
all
have the support of each other.
Correct,
you know.
absolutely. And once within the home, there's a team. You support each other. Then within that, you take that outside your home, which is your community. No, and that's what it is, partnering.
Of course.
Don't you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to ask each of you, because obviously the podcast by KHOJA is called KHOJA Connection. So what does connection mean to you, to each of you?
Connection would be interacting, networking. Connection would be also networking. Connection also would be inspiring, I would say. Connection would be maybe meeting up. That all, to me, it's connection. Bringing everybody together.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful word, right? So I think unearthing, so we can show each other who we truly are. I think bringing people together, and I think then leveraging that network to be able to empower as a whole. I think that's the power of connectivity.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So, I mean, this Bibi Khadija competition is going to be a catalyst of connecting people together.
Absolutely.
And it's going to bring a lot of Jamaats together as well. So it's really bringing a lot of value. And I want to thank both of you for coming today, sharing your experience, giving value to people who may have been maybe on the fence or who may not have ever heard about that. I know I've been inspired today by looking at the two of you who have achieved so much. But thank you to both of you.
And thank you for having us. Thank you for the opportunity as well.
Yeah, genuinely, it's been a pleasure, and you know, wish you guys all the success and power. It's a great journey you guys are on. So
thank you.
All the best.
We look forward to the next Bibi Khadija competition.
Absolutely.
Inshallah. Inshallah. And you may ask us next time to come in, what next? What other vision have you seen?
Yeah,
so that
I
would
want
be
to know
coming
about
then.
your visions. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. This is the KHOJA Connection podcast, growing through conversations. please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is run by KHOJA, and press the notification button so that you can get all of our podcasts, and they are one after another amazing, exciting conversations.